Today I'm going to share 3 simple steps for spicing up your EDM chord progressions and making them sound different from everyone else's out there. Hey guys, it's Will from EDM Tips, where each week I help you seriously up your EDM production game. So we all want a killer EDM chord progression for our track, right? Because it's what captures the soul of the music. It really moves people if it's a good chord progression. So rather than just using basic triads, I'm showing you 3 tips today to spice up your chord progressions and help them stick out from everyone else's. This is the second part of the video I made a few days ago, which is how to create a chord progression from any melody, so you can click on the link to see that. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video. Now let me know what you think of this video at the end of it. Drop me a comment below, and without further ado, let's hop into the door and get it done. Okay, let's get cracking. If you remember in my last video, this is the melody that we started with, etc. And then we built some chords out from that by finding the template of the key that we're in, writing in the bass notes of those chords, and building out the triads. If that sounds a bit complex, just check out my last video. I've put a link to it in one of these places. Okay, but now we want to spice these up a bit. So we're going to look at 3 things. We're going to cover extended chords, we're going to cover chord inversions, and we're going to cover sus chords as well. Now, okay, let's just have a quick recap. So our melody was in the key of C minor, and we've written our chords in the key of C minor. And just a quick update on that, a quick recap. If we write in all the notes in C minor, let's see, let's get our chords selected. So all of those notes that is the scale of C minor natural. And if you grab them all, shift them to one side and press fold if you're using Ableton, you now have a template for where you can just draw in your chords with one space in between each note. You could also use Scalar, the Scalar plugin for Ableton, and there's some other ones out there, but I like to draw it down so you can actually see what's going on. Okay, so let's spice these chords up. So we've got our key of C minor, natural, so I'm just going to grab them all. I'm going to duplicate them up an octave and duplicate them, if I've got space, down an octave. And this just means that we've got 3 octaves of C minor natural to play with. We press fold, and you can see how simple it is with the chords. They've got one space in between them, basically. So I'll put the first chord in. Now, what was it? It was starting on G. Okay, I'll just copy and paste it actually. So here is our bog standard bass line and chord progression. First, we are going to extend these chords, and that means we're going to add a 7th or a 9th interval to them just to make them sound a bit jazzier. So it's as simple as this. So this is the first of the chord, the root note of the chord. This is the 3rd. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is a minor triad. Now all we need to do is just count up 2 more spaces, and then we have a 7th. So now let's listen to that. Let's just listen to the chords on their own. So we had this, and now we've added a 7th, and we've got this. And the name I'm taking from the position from the root note of that chord. So 7 intervals above G is F. And let's do that to these other chords. Now these are great for things like, well, for genres like deep house, you know, jazzy stuff, future bass as well. Now it doesn't always work, so on this last note, it's actually because it's a diminished 7th, so it sounds whack, basically. So we're just going to keep this at an octave, so it's 1 octave above the bass note. So now let's listen to our chord progression. Lovely jubbly. Does it make sense so far, guys? If so, drop me a hell yeah in the comments below, just so I know I'm not kind of being too complex and that this is being taught in the most understandable way. Okay, the second trick is to use inversions, and all that is simply shifting one or more of those notes in each chord up or down an octave by using, if you're using Ableton, shift and pressing down or up like that. And the idea is we're going to try and get them all within a smaller space on this piano roll editor, so they're all a bit closer together. We're just going to unfold so we can see the difference it's really making. So we started with this up here, and we're just going to invert it so it's closer to the next chord. And similarly, we can take this one, shift it up an octave, this one, shift it up an octave, and you can see that it all falls within a much closer range on the keyboard. So now let's have a listen. So you can hear it just sounds more jazzy, closer together. So that is my second trick. The third is using sus2 or sus4 chords. Now that sounds a bit fancy, but it's not that difficult. So I'm just going to change the inversions back to how they were. So we've got the normal notes. In fact, I'm going to get rid of the sevenths as well, just to make this a bit easier to understand. So we've got our normal triads, which is what we started with. Now, a sus2 or a sus4 is simply changing the third of the chord. So you've got the first, the third, and the fifth, placing it either in the fourth interval from the beginning of the chord, or the second. So that's a sus4, and that would be a sus2. So here's what it sounds like, and it's nice to use usually at the end of a chord progression just to add some extra tension. And you can see it links this chord more, it links this chord more closely to this one because it's sharing the same note. So now let's hear what happens when we use this sus4 chord just before converting back to the normal triad. So it's kind of got an epic feel, and a sus2 chord would just be moving that to the second in the, so if we press fold, we can see that this is now in 1, 2, the second interval, the second position. So let's do that on all the chords. It's a bit over the top. You wouldn't usually do this on all the chords, but we'll just move this to the fourth. So it's a sus4 and back to the normal triad. And we'll make this one a sus2 chord going back to the normal triad. So now let's have a listen. As you can tell, that sounds pretty cool. If we chuck in the sevenths again as well, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, same here, and not the same here because remember it was a diminished seventh, so it sounded weird. So now let's listen to everything all together. And with the melody. I don't like this one, but whatever, still sounds pretty cool. So now let's listen to everything all together. So there you have it, guys. Now you can spice up your chord progressions in 3 easy steps. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I've also put a free gift below that you can use to seriously improve your chord progressions. And don't forget to drop me a comment below this video letting me know what you think and what you want me to cover in my next one. Thanks for watching, I'll catch you next time, and until then, cheers and happy producing.